Hey everyone, it's Smokey the Bear here. We are doing another percent volume problem, this time on rectangular prism. Now in the cylinder video, we calculated the percent volume of a smaller cylinder in comparison to a larger cylinder. In this one, we are starting with the percent and using it to answer this question. You are filling a trailer 80% full with boxes. How many boxes will the trailer hold? What's a trailer? Well, it's one of those big, long trucks you see that go around shipping merchandise for companies and stores and such. So typically, they are filled with boxes because otherwise everything would be like flying around as the truck is driving, right? So they put them in boxes. Why don't they fill them 100% full, right? Doesn't that make more sense? To save trips by doing it all at once? Well, the reason they don't fill them 100% full is because these trucks are pretty tall as far as the tires go. So when you go up to unload the truck, to unload that trailer, you come up to, I don't know, maybe stomach to chest height. So if you're at stomach to chest height, and you need to start at the top, right? We're not playing Jenga badly, right? We're trying to get the boxes at the top off first. There's no way you're going to be able to reach that if it's jam-packed like that. So we're going to say it's 80% full. I just made that up, but just know that trailers aren't filled all the way. They need to have some room so someone can climb in and unload the truck. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to redraw it to kind of look. Okay. All right. So these dimensions are fairly accurate. I did a little research on the dimensions of trailers. So your trailer is a rectangular prism. It's a rectangular box, right? It is 50 feet by 8 feet. The little apostrophe is feet, if you didn't know that. And it's 9 feet high. Okay? The boxes you are loading in with product are 4 feet high, 6 feet long, and 4 feet wide. Now, some of you might go, wait, in some of your other videos, this was height. And yes, you're absolutely right. I did label it as height because typically when we think of rectangle area, we do length times width, and it's usually oriented like this rectangle. It doesn't matter what you label as height with rectangular prisms as long as it is a different dimension, okay? Notice this is kind of like the depth of the box. I wouldn't label like this one 6 or as like my height because I already have 4 feet here, and so this side must be 4 feet. Anyways, moving on from that. Let's see if we can calculate the volume of our trailer. How do we calculate the volume of a rectangular prism? Yes, it is going to be length times width, that's area. So we need to multiply by one more thing to get it in volume, that's height. 3 dimensions, length times width times height. How do we know this is a volume problem? Well, based on the context, we are talking about how many boxes the trailer are going to hold. Boxes are 3-dimensional objects that take up space. Whenever you're talking about an amount of space something takes up or occupies, you're talking about volume. All right, let's go ahead and calculate the trailer. So we have our length is 8 feet. I'm going to do big V for the trailer volume. Big V is going to be 8 times 9. Well, let's do 50 as my width. Just because I think of 9 as height in this instance. But again, doesn't matter. They're all going to get multiplied together. So, then we have 72 times, 8 times 50 times 9 is 3,600. our measurements were in feet. So I'm going to write out feet. And then we had 3 dimensions. It's 3-dimensional. It's volume, so it's going to be cubic feet. Why didn't you write feet here? I don't know. I just wanted to show it different ways to confuse you. Anyways, let's look at the box over here. Let's calculate the volume of that. But before we do that, remember this 3,600 cubic feet is talking about the entire trailer, but we're only filling it up 80%. So, what's 80% of this volume? How do you find that? Good, you multiply this volume by 80%. 80% times 3,600 cubic feet. Okay? Now remember, if you're using a calculator, if you have the percent button, mine's right here, if you put in 80 and then press percent, look at that, it changes it to a decimal for you. The decimal is 0.8. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to 0.8 so I don't get confused and get a way bigger number. It should be a smaller number because 80% isn't the entire thing. It's less than the entire thing of 100%. 0.8 times 3,600 gets me 2,880 cubic feet. Now in this example, I am doing the percent first. I'm going to show you a different way to do it, and I'm also going to show you why I don't like it as much. But we're going to move on to this box's volume. That's going to be small v. Okay, let's see. Well, it's 4 feet as it's 6 feet as length. Let's do it in this order because that makes it easier, I guess, maybe. Times 4 is going to be, well, let's see, 24 times 4, 96. 96 cubic feet. Okay. I'm going to box my 2 volumes here that I'm working with. If each box is 96 cubic feet, and you have 2,880 cubic feet of space to work with, how many boxes can you fit in there? How do you find that? Well, if each box is going to be the same amount, we're basically asking how many times does 96 fit into 2,880? That means it's a division problem. So 2,880 cubic feet to work with. How many boxes of 96 cubic feet will fit in there? If I do that on my calculator, I get 30 boxes. Now, that works perfectly fine. I like this method better, but in math there are usually more than one way. There's usually more than one way to calculate the answer. But some methods are better than others. Let's take a look at this example. One way you could do it is you could figure out, hey, what percent of the entire trailer does just one box take up? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and erase this part. I'm going to keep my answer from before so we can compare it. We said 30 boxes. 30 boxes. Now, the whole trailer, if you remember, before taking it the 80%, it was 3,600 cubic feet for the whole trailer. Okay? If you wanted to figure out what percent of volume of the trailer one box takes up, you would do, well, part divided by whole equals percent, right? So 96 cubic feet divided by 3,600 cubic feet. Okay? If I calculate that out, 96 divided by 3,600, you get a wacky decimal, which probably would be better expressed as a fraction. But I don't know what 0.026666666 is as a fraction right off the top of my head. I'm going to go ahead and write 0.026. Well, let's round up. Let's do 0.027. What is 0.027 as a percent? Well, if we got a smaller number by moving, remember when we had 80% and it turned into 0.8? We moved the decimal 2 places to the left. If you're going from a decimal to a percent, you're going to move 2 decimal places to the right. So we get 2.7%. Now the last step is, well, if one box takes up 2.7%, I'm going to set this up as a proportion. One box takes up 2.7%. I want to know how many boxes. I'm putting the boxes on the top for my proportion. How many boxes are going to fit in, what's the percent in our problem? 80% of the trailer. Then you can cross multiply to figure out that proportion. 1 times 80 is just going to be 80. And then we're going to divide by that 2.7 to get our answer. 80 divided by 2.7 is, oh, look at that, 29.6. 29.6 boxes. That doesn't make any sense. How do you have 0.6 of a box? Oh, sorry. There we go. Now you can probably see it better. Okay, notice if you round up, you will get 30 boxes. So we got pretty much the same answer. Which one's the better method? The one that avoids those crazy decimals that repeat forever. Okay, but I just wanted to show you there are multiple ways to get there. All right, so check out the other video with percent volume of cylinders if you haven't already. I am going to call it good for this. Reach out to your teacher if you have any questions. Peace out.